Thanks so much for joining, and I hope you're doing well today. My name is Simon Benari. I'm an accessibility solution specialist, and I'll be presenting our amazing AI-driven web accessibility tool. Now, I want to give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be going through today. And first and foremost, I'll give you a quick overview of web accessibility and its relationship with ADA compliance so you can better understand the current climate from a technical and legal perspective. Then I'll give you a quick overview of our solution and its features. And finally, I'll take you through the process of becoming compliant with us. Now, this presentation takes about 5 to 7 minutes to get through, and I typically answer all questions throughout the demo, so just in case you might have questions during the presentation. Now, to get right into it, web accessibility is ultimately a set of rules, behaviors, code standards, and design guidelines that were created by the W3C, and they're called the WCAG 2.1. The WCAG 2.1 is a massive 1,000-page guidebook that encapsulates a range of disabilities that go from hindering internet use to making internet use impossible without significant adjustments. Now, the spectrum here actually comprises 20 to 25% of the general population, depending, of course, if we're going with the CDC or the World Health Organization. Now, there's many disabilities covered. And the primary categories that require attention are blind people using screen readers, the motor impaired using only the keyboard to navigate, epilepsy, color blindness, cognitive and learning disabilities, visual impairments, and more. The WCAG 2.1 at the AA level has been adopted as the global standard for web accessibility, acting as the benchmark in legislation such as the ADA Title III, Section 508, AODA, European 301549, and many others. Now, I wish I can tell you that the exponential increase in demand for web accessibility has been a result of everyone coming to the understanding that business owners and people with disabilities have so much to mutually gain from this endeavor. Frankly, ADA compliance lawsuits are on nothing short of an intense rise, 200% year over year, with reports of tens of thousands of demand letters and lawsuits that are targeting businesses of all sizes. Now, at first, only the largest of enterprises and government institutions were legally pressured to become accessible, and that makes sense. One of the most significant shifts in the legal climate was when the Department of Justice in the end of 2018 officially affirmed that all websites are considered public accommodations and therefore must comply with Title III of the ADA. Now, what makes things worse for the business owner, with all that being said, are the current alternatives to become compliant. The current options in the market today are either free or low-cost plugins that do not provide you more than 10 to 15% of the accessibility you need in order to become compliant. You also have manual accessibility services that do bring you up to full compliance, but they cost between $20,000 and $40,000 per website. They take several weeks and in many cases months to implement. And of course, the worst part is the tedious and costly maintenance. Now imagine having to spend all of that time and money and coming to understand that every time you want to make a change or revision to your site, you have to either spend thousands of dollars or sacrifice a significant amount of the accessibility that you worked so hard to attain. Now, as you can imagine, these options leave 99% of businesses without a feasible solution that's going to protect them from lawsuits or help them to help people with disabilities. And in order to solve this impossible situation, we created our AI accessibility tool. Now, our accessibility tool is an AI-powered machine learning software that was developed with the understanding that successfully automating the process creates a simple, immediate, affordable, and compliant solution that serves as a win-win for both the business owner and for people with disabilities who just want equal access to the internet. Taking into consideration our pricing model, which is a fraction of the cost of manual remediation, our solution is not only a no-brainer in comparison to the other alternatives in the market, it actually makes being accessible and compliant a no-brainer in general for the majority of businesses that otherwise wouldn't have a reasonable solution. Now, we developed our solution side by side with leading experts in accessibility and assistive technologies in order to ensure the highest success rate in the industry with respect to going above and beyond the standards for compliance. This is, of course, evident in the fact that none of our clients have ever received a compliance lawsuit after implementing our solution. It's very important to note that one of the legal requirements of being ADA compliant is to have an accessibility statement that highlights your website's accessibility. The document here is our accessibility statement, which also acts as a certificate of performance. Now, it explains all the adjustments the solution has made to the website, browser and assistive technology compatibility, and it describes how to report feedback. The statement will be personalized to the name of your domain and dated. It will be available to all users within the interface and sent to you via email within 48 hours from the installation once our AI completes its process. Now, lastly, and from our experience, business owners have found that the best part of becoming compliant with us is definitely the super simple process. The first step is you install a single line of JavaScript code. That takes 5 minutes to install and can integrate with any website or CMS platform. Then, your website instantly displays our accessibility interface, and simultaneously, the AI kicks in, and within 48 hours, it's finished. Your website is fully accessible, compliant, and you'll receive the accessibility statement to your email. Now, I'd have to say that the biggest advantage to using our solution is the automatic maintenance, because it means that our AI rescans the website every 24 hours to make sure that any changes or additions are also being remediated. Now, ultimately, after the 5-minute installation, you can forget about compliance issues because everything else is done automatically, even for websites that update daily. Now, I want to get into our features and how we achieve compliance. We simply do that by leveraging two components. The first is our accessibility interface, and that's responsible for handling the UI, design, and cognitive-related adjustments. The interface is structured by disability profiles and enhancement features. That way, users with different disabilities can simply select the profile that best suits their needs. Among these profiles, you'll find an epilepsy-safe profile, a visually impaired profile, cognitive disability profile, ADHD-friendly profile, and the interface is also fully customizable and can be fitted to your website's brand and design. The second is our AI machine learning powered process that handles keyboard navigation adjustments for the motor impaired and blind people's screen readers. Now, a screen reader is a software used by blind people to operate computers and websites, and it's installed on the operating system. It basically reads aloud the content focused on the screen, and it also helps with navigation and orientation aspects. Adjustments to those screen readers are what the legislation requires, and our solution comes in by handling all on-site aspects using a contextual understanding AI that's responsible for remediating menus, drop-downs, pop-ups, forms, icons, buttons, and all other elements by applying the appropriate screen reader texts, ARIA attributes, and website behaviors. Now, to automatically provide alternative text for images, or alt tags, our solution utilizes Iris and OCR technologies to scan and learn the objects as well as the text that is embedded within the image. By the way, everything that I mentioned is fully supported in 14 different languages. Thanks so much for joining me today, and in our next video, I'll be going over a features demonstration and showing you how all of the functions and capabilities of our solution works live on a website.